welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to show you 4 meals that me and my family ate this week. So the first thing that we had was this Barefoot Contessa Ritz crackers. We also had some creamy Chipotle chicken with white rice, and we did grilled barbecue chicken with some grilled corn and veggies. And the last thing we had was some shredded beef tacos with Spanish rice. So if you want to see how I made these things, keep on watching. So for our first meal, which was the Ritz Crackers Atlantic cod, which it was really good. You're going to need some asparagus for the side, a sweet potato, panko breadcrumbs, some parsley, some cooking white wine, salt and pepper, olive oil, a lemon and garlic, some Ritz crackers, butter, and your fish. So we're gonna go ahead and start off with peeling the sweet potato. And we're gonna go ahead and add this to a baking sheet after we chop it up into pieces. Once you have your sweet potatoes all cut up, you're gonna just add on some olive oil, some salt, pepper, and garlic powder. And this is gonna go in the oven at 415 for about 15 to 20 minutes. Now to prep for the fish, we're gonna need a lemon, so we're gonna go ahead and cut up our lemon. Half will be used for the fish, the other half will be used to put on top. And we're going to chop up our parsley. And the parsley will go into the Ritz crackers topping. We're going to prep our asparagus, which will be sauteed. And then we're going to go ahead and prep our garlic for the fish. So this is actually a Barefoot Contessa recipe that I'm following, and I will have that linked in the description below. I actually don't really like fish, but this recipe was so good. So once your garlic is prepared, you're gonna go ahead and prep your fish. I went ahead and just cut mine into 3 pieces. There's 3 of us here in this house. And they're pretty good pieces, and cod is pretty solid, so it's easy to cook with. You're gonna lay some olive oil down into your baking dish and cover the fish with some salt, pepper, and olive oil. Now we're gonna go ahead and prep the topping, which is just 15 Ritz crackers, which we're gonna go ahead and crumble up as smoothly as you can. While we're doing this, our fish is cooking in the oven at 400 degrees. We're gonna add in some panko breadcrumbs, our parsley, and garlic. And then just go ahead and grate some of the lemon peel into the topping. So we add some salt and pepper. And we had some apples on the side with this meal, so I went ahead and just peeled my apples and diced them up. As I'm preparing the rest of my food, the cod is baking in the oven at 400 degrees for 10 minutes. So my camera did die, but what I did was I went ahead and took the cod out and put the topping on each piece. Then once the toppings were on, I went ahead and put the cod back into the oven, which is going to bake for another 12 minutes. While the cod is cooking, we're going to go ahead and cook our asparagus. We just add some olive oil, put the asparagus in with some salt and pepper. So once you pull the fish out of the oven, it's cooked for 10 minutes. You're gonna pull it out, add on some lemons straight to the top of the fish and white wine, about 1/4 cup for each piece. You go ahead and put the Ritz topping on top and then put it back into the oven for 12 minutes. So this is what the fish looked like. It cooked really fast. And that was dinner for night number 1. For our second meal, we had a creamy Chipotle chicken with white rice. You're gonna need Chipotle and Adobo sauce, heavy cream, about half an onion, a lime and garlic, 2 potatoes, half of a zucchini. I had some strawberries on the side, some tomatoes, and then you're gonna need about 2 chicken breasts and some white rice. So for our chicken, we're gonna go ahead and dice it up into pieces, about bite-sized pieces. And I didn't add any seasoning or anything to the chicken just yet because the sauce that has so much flavor, so it doesn't really need too much seasoning. So we're gonna go ahead and prep our zucchini. And you only need about half. So you can save the other half for another day. And then we're gonna go ahead and prep up our 2 potatoes, which we're just gonna go ahead and peel them and dice them. And everything should be cut in roughly about the same size. I had prepared white rice from another day, so it just made this a lot easier. Sometimes I'll make enough white rice to last for 2 meals. Now for the sauce, you're gonna go ahead and cut up 2 or 3 Roma tomatoes. I ran out of tomatoes, so I just used some grape tomatoes. You're gonna put the juice of 1 lime, and then you're gonna add 1/4 of an onion into the sauce. The remainder of the onion, I just chopped it up into slices, and I'm gonna go ahead and add that into the chicken. We're gonna go ahead and peel garlic. I used about 3 cloves. And then you're gonna add in half a can of Chipotle peppers. If you like it spicy, you can add more. Or if you want it less spicy, you can add less. This one was definitely a little bit on the more spicy side. And then for seasoning, we're just gonna go ahead and add in a spoonful of tomato bouillon and 2 cups of water. And then I went ahead and just prepped our strawberries, which we had on the side. Now this meal cooks up really easy and it uses just 1 pot, so it's a really great weeknight dinner. But you're gonna go ahead and heat up your olive oil, and once it's really hot, just go ahead and add in your chicken. Once the chicken's added, we just added a bit of salt and pepper, not too much. And we're gonna let this brown up. So this is gonna brown up for probably about 3 to 4 minutes. And we're gonna add in our onion pieces to also brown with the chicken once it's gotten a little bit of color. Meanwhile, the chicken's cooking, we're gonna go ahead and prep our sauce just by blending it. And we're gonna also prep our rice. So you can just heat up your rice left over in the microwave. Or if you want it a little bit softer, you can heat it up in a pan with some water. Once the water has been, cook it on low. Once the water's been absorbed, then turn it off and let it just absorb up as much steam as possible while you're cooking the rest of your food. So the chicken, it just needed to brown a little bit longer. So we're gonna let this keep cooking for about another 5 minutes until it gets nice and golden brown on one side. So once the chicken's golden brown, we're gonna add in our veggies. And to the veggies, we're gonna let that saute up with some garlic powder. And we're gonna let that cook for about 2 minutes to help kind of soften. And we're gonna let that cook with the chicken. So once the veggies have sauteed along with the meat, we're gonna add in the sauce and a little bit of heavy cream, which is gonna make it nice and thick. And go ahead and just place the lid onto your sauce once it comes to a bit of a boil, like a soft boil. And we're gonna let that cook for about 15 to 20 minutes on low. And for this meal, I really just like to eat it on top of the white rice with some sour cream. You can put some extra toppings like onion or avocado on it if you'd like. All right, so our grilled, barbecued chicken and veggies. So this is one of my favorite things to cook because it cooks so quickly. You're gonna get some chicken drumsticks, corn, green beans, salt and pepper, soy sauce, and barbecue sauce. So for the chicken, we're gonna add in about a 1/4 cup of soy sauce with a 1/2 bottle of barbecue sauce. And we're gonna put some water into the bottle to kind of get the rest of the barbecue sauce out and give that a good mix. And then we're gonna go ahead and just place our chicken breast, go ahead and place the chicken into the dish to marinate for at least 30 minutes, or you can prep this the night before if you'd like it to have more flavor. Now what I love about grilled corn is it's so easy. It doesn't really even need any prep. I just place it on a tray for my husband to put on the grill, but I don't put any seasonings, and it's so flavorful. You can add your seasonings once it's off the grill, but it's a great weeknight option. For the green beans, we're gonna go ahead and roast our green beans in the oven with some salt, pepper, and olive oil. And this is gonna go in the oven at 400 for about 15 to 20 minutes. Because this was such a summer meal and it was so hot this day, we also decided to eat some watermelon on the side. So I just went ahead and cut up some watermelon. For the chicken, you're just gonna go ahead and place that on your prepared grill. It should be really hot. And you can solicit someone to help you with this. My husband is the one that usually does the grilling. We went ahead, started the chicken. Once the chicken was a little more cooked, we added in our corn, which only cooks for about 5 to 7 minutes on the grill. And this meal is so easy. It was done so quick, and it's just it has so much flavor. For my corn, I like to add a little bit of butter and salt, and that's it. And finally, for our last meal, we had some shredded beef tacos that are cooked in the crock pot with some salsa verde, a lemon, 1/2 lemon, taco seasoning mix, a chuck roast. And you can prep this the night before, or you can make this the morning of, but I'm gonna go ahead and put my chuck roast into the crock pot, squeeze on some lemon. You can poke holes in the chuck roast if you want to get more flavor in, but it cooks for so long, it's already so flavorful. We're gonna add in the entire packet of seasonings. This was a big roast. I also added some extra onion that I had that I wanted to use. You don't have to do this. It still will have a lot of flavor. And then almost the entire jar of salsa, I left just a little bit for to eat on top of the tacos. And then you just close that and cook that on low for about 6 to 8 hours. And the next day I went ahead and made my Spanish rice. So you just need rice, chicken bouillon, and tomato bouillon. You're gonna need 2 Roma tomatoes, 2 limes, an onion, and some lima beans. So for the onion, we're gonna go ahead and use a quarter of the onion for the sauce, and the other quarter will be cut up for the topping. And for our sauce, we're gonna go ahead and add 2 Roma tomatoes. And then we're gonna add in a spoonful of chicken bouillon and about 1.5 spoons of tomato bouillon. And then for the toppings, for the tacos, I went ahead and diced up the onion. Oh, don't forget to add water to your sauce. But we diced up an onion. And then I also cut up some limes. Now to get the rice ready, we're gonna go ahead and heat up some olive oil, blend up our sauce, and then after the olive oil is heated, we're gonna go ahead and add in our washed rice. And you want the rice to brown just a tiny bit. You really want to be able to smell it more than you can see the brown. But once the rice is kind of slightly browned, we're going to go ahead and add in our lima beans to cook up along with the rice. And you can add in any vegetable. It doesn't have to be lima beans. Sometimes we will use peas and carrots. Sometimes we'll use corn. Now once you feel like everything's been cooked enough, you're going to go ahead and strain your sauce into the rice. And we're going to take out all of the tomato mixture pulp. Now if you feel like you need more sauce, you can go ahead and add more water. For this one, I did not need any more sauce. It created enough to cover the rice. We're going to go ahead and give that a mix, and then go ahead and just pop on the lid. Now for the rice, you want to cook this on, once it brings to a boil, you're going to turn the heat down to low, and you're going to let it cook until all the water's been absorbed. Once the water's been absorbed, you're going to go ahead and turn off the flame, and you're going to let it sit for at least 15 to 20 minutes. And once the rice is cooked, you can just check and fluff it up. And we're gonna go ahead and check on our meat, which was perfect. It is shredded naturally in the crock pot itself, but I went ahead and gave it a shred. I went ahead and shredded it with a fork, and then assembled my tacos. So I just used store-bought tortillas. I add a little bit of hot sauce, some sour cream, some of the salsa verde, and then some chopped up onions. And that is what we ate for this week. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing the next one.